Physically disabled users of Reddit, what are some less commonly talked about struggles that come with your disability? Not, always, being able to tell when an illness or injury is bad enough to need medical attention. When nauseous, fatigued, and in a noticeable amount of pain is just your constant state of being, it's not easy to know when something worse might be going on or if you're just having a bad flare-up. Farts are wheelchair height. This absolutely killed me. The heinous need to be near a bathroom at all times. You wouldn't think, but so many places don't have bathrooms and it really limits where you can go and how you socialize. It's very limiting. If you have an illness that requires immediate access to a bathroom, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, interstitial cystitis, ECT, and live in Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Kentucky, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Tennessee, Texas, Wisconsin, and Washington, the Bathroom Access Act exists. With proof, some urologists and gastroenterologists have a special form for this. It allows people to use employee restrooms. I have also used it as proof when using a restroom of a business I am not a customer of. One thing I forgot to add, 2 employees must be in the business, for the safety of the employees. According to UTHI 92, the number of employees vary by state, some say 3 must be present. n.m.wikipedia.org. I use it about once a year and every time I am thankful it exists. Yay! I have a card to give people to quickly explain this. The issue is convincing an employee the law exists takes time you may not have before shitting yourself, so that's fun. Listen, this is going to go one of 2 ways. One way involves you and a mop. Your call. Look man, I know this is shitty but if you don't hurry it's gonna get a lot shittier. I work at a gas station and our public bathroom's been closed since I started there a little over a year ago. If it's an elder, a child, or someone I can tell really needs to go, I let them. We're not supposed to because you have to go past a lot of our backstock of merchandise and of course, don't want any theft to occur. I had a guy come in and ask, I said unfortunately, we don't have a public restroom. He said bro I got ibs. I immediately said all the way back, to the left. He ran back there so quick. I ain't gonna let anyone shit themselves. Write me up over it, I don't care. Had to do this yesterday. Had cancer and part of my colon removed, so when I gotta go, I gotta go. Customer toilets were blocked so I asked a customer service person who asked the manager who escorted me to the employee toilets. I was so thankful. While I didn't have cancer, my colon and some intestines removed. I'm right there with you. I have to have meetings on camera all the time and I have one supervisor that still hates it when I have to leave and ask someone else run the meeting. I don't get it. Carry your laptop to the toilet with you on your next meeting with your supervisor. Keep video and audio on for their benefit. The number of random people who will grab or lean on my wheelchair without permission, when I'm in it, would shock you. Edit, the replies from non-disabled folks who found this surprising, and disabled folks going like yeah that happens a lot, really tells the story. Society needs to do better. I've seen people in public just push someone in a wheelchair out of their way, without asking, as if they were moving an inanimate object. People have tried that with my mum but she uses an electric wheelchair which weighs over 200 ibs so you can imagine how that went for them. I want one, mainly to run people foots over. I'm also a wheelchair user. I speak from experience, very painful. The worst however is getting attacked at the shins by the steel footplate that's so solid you could use it as a battering ram. I use a cane, and sometimes my fiancé forget I only have one hand available when standing. Also the amount of energy required to do the same activities. I'm a new cane user and the amount of times my mom leaves me to carry more than one thing is shocking. Also first time out I didn't get a basket, that was a mistake I only made once. Pro tip, pull the shopping cart next to you with your free hand when space allows. Easier than trying to coordinate the cane every time you stop and go to grab items, then trying to put the cane in the cart and steer with both hands. I absolutely destroyed my right knee in the military. I was 22 years old, right knee cage looking brace. I walked with a cane to help support myself. I started using the powered carts at Walmart and such, and got some really nasty comments about how lazy I was. While my cane was between my legs, and my caged knee was completely visible. I couldn't believe it at first, then I stopped caring and just rode the carts until I didn't need to anymore. Bowel and bladder issues. It may not be obvious, but they can be a constant issue. Also, pain that isn't obvious. I am disabled and a part-time forearm crutch user. I have been accused for doing this to get attention because I'm young and I don't look disabled. Well, you didn't look like an asshole until you spoke. Just the exhaustion from having to deal with your limitations, both physically and mentally. Doing anything always takes extra effort, and usually requires more resting to feel up to doing whatever else needs to be done. As a disabled person who works, I usually only have enough energy to make dinner when I get home. So chores tend to pile up, and some jobs just never get done because it requires more energy than I have in one day, unless I get someone else to do it for me. Oh, I get this completely. And you can't just fight your way through fatigue. It's like the car is out of gas. A pep talk isn't fuel, it's just annoying. I work, too, and my medication has helped so much, but I still struggle big time with laundry, cooking, cleaning, the cat has to be fed, watered, etc. He is stuck with me through this, so he gets priority. Do you use any of the services like Grubhub, or grocery delivery apps? Hell, even if you manage to find reserve gas to use, you'll have half a tank at best to start with the next day if you use it. Menus up way behind the cash registers. I've always wondered if it gave people with normal sight problems. I hate when they do that. It's so hard to read fine details. I don't look disabled, so I get judged as lazy all the time. Every minute of every day is simply pain. It hurts to move. It hurts to not move. It just always hurts. Edit, thank you all for your words of encouragement. Not me, but my dad is blind. Lots of home appliances have been going from physical knobs and buttons with clear distinct functions to touchscreen panels, some without even any type of sound or tactile cue to let the person know. Touch screens also absolutely suck for those of us with hand tremors and proprioception, position sense, issues. If you miss a physical button, it's no problem, just slide your finger to where it needs to be and push. If you miss on a touch screen, ducky, you're going to wherever that touch sends you. I've been concerned about the rise of touchscreen controls in automobiles, how much harder they make it to change a control setting by feel so you don't take your eyes off the road. I hadn't considered how touchscreens affect people with vision or fine motor control issues in things like turning on a coffee maker. Accessibility gets talked about, but what gets me? Shitty accessibility. I live in Adelaide. We have a stylized gutter system in the shopping CBD that's meant to mimic a river or some shit, and it sways and curves around. Meaning all the ducking in our CBD shopping lane is uneven and slopes to the gutter that wavers around. Combined with polished stone that gets slippery when wet, it's a nightmare to try and control a wheelchair of any type. Also, steep ramps. Fucking hell, I am not that buff and strong, my shoulders dislocate under force. Your 30-degree ramp is fucking terrifying. Those ramps are also horrific for anyone who uses a walker cane crutches too. Especially if they are sloped in multiple directions or if the pavement is not well maintained. Nearly every time I have experienced a fall in public, it has been because of a poorly designed and not maintained ramp. People get mad when I'm standing in the disabled line. Yes, I've ducking noticed I'm in the disabled line, thanks for reminding me of that. As a wheelchair prosthetic leg user, when people do that, I just raise my pant leg and make a loud enough comment so everyone in earshot knows they're being a rude cunt. Duck off, not every disability is visible. Public shaming is sometimes the right response to this bullshit. Make a loud enough comment, can I ask what? Something along "want to touch it," to ensure it's really not a real leg? Or more straightforwarded and simply calling them out without any questions, etc. I haven't had many experiences with this since 99% of people, in my experience so far, are cool about it. However, one time I straight up said something along the lines of "am I not disabled enough?" in response to whatever the other guy said. I don't remember though because it was years ago. A few people gave him a death glare and I felt pretty okay with that since he left me alone after. Typically anything that both shows you're actually disabled while pointing out the other person's rude remarks is sufficient, thankfully. I haven't had it go into any kind of debate argument, thankfully. Most of us tend to hate when people try to get offended on our behalf. We aren't children. Also, with my disability, I've been accused of having monkeypox. I have NF1 and have tumors on my face that some people mistake for monkeypox. That scenario recently happened to a girl on a train in NYC, and a doctor in Spain made a false story about a guy who had it, but it was really tumors on his legs. People are assholes.